Yeah. So what I was saying is that now I have investors that will come to me and say, hey, I want to buy something. Let's just say right now we're looking for places in Mill Valley. So they'll have I have 300K, whatever I need to put this into an asset. I'll find properties that will cash flow them, 25, 30, 40%, whatever it is that they're looking for. And then I'll either joint venture with them where I don't put any of my own money in, or I'll put a little bit of money and I'll still get equity in the property and I'll manage it basically for free. Like I was mentioning to you guys before, I charge 25 to 30% for management fees. So I'll just pay that. They'll pay me that, or I'll pay that out directly over the next 3 to 5 years instead of putting that money up front, which is typically how, agencies do. So if a place makes 100 grand, instead of them paying me 25K up front, I'm just basically doing it for free, not necessarily for free, but that was my skin in the game, my payment, for the next 3 years, or however long we decide to hold the property for. So in a sense, I'm still putting my own money in, but I'm just managing it and doing things in a different way. And we have buyout clauses. It gets really intricate when I joint venture, but yeah, it just depends on how it works out. But
and are you doing any rental arbitrage? Like you're renting a property from people and then you're running it as a short-term rental?
Yeah, I do that too. Yeah, I have a couple in Turlock. I have one in two of them in Oakland. I have one in San Francisco. So yeah, I do that as well. So anybody on here that has rental properties, let me know. I may rent it from you, and you guys can walk into it anytime you want. You know what I mean? Like they're kept up really well. They're not like traditional rentals. We have to take care of them, or we get bad reviews, negative reviews. So the properties are kept really clean and up to par. You know how it is. When you have a rental, like people can thrash it.
Right.
So,
what is your biggest challenge? Is it finding enough rentals, or is it finding enough end users?
I think my biggest challenge is educating people on what they could do. I mean, like Ron, how long have I been talking to you and
Dave?
yeah, Dave about this? And you guys haven't jumped on it yet. Like, I don't understand why, but I think
I don't know if you know this or not, but me and Dave, we started a whole different company.
yeah, no, yeah, Dave told me about it. Yeah, you guys are
doing. We've been crazy busy with that. So
the Alpha Lima, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to Dave about it. Yeah, Dave. So Dave's working on a project that I kind of connected him with in Modesto right now. That I think they're finishing it up with one of my buddies, Shane. He's
was that the burnout?
Shane is out in no, are you talking about which one?
Was that the burnout house? It was like all fired?
No, that's a different one. That's over in San Jose. That's another one that they're working on. This one's here in Modesto on Northwood. Yeah, it's a flip. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's the biggest thing is educating people the right way. And I've been doing things a little bit different. Like if you guys want to know how to make money easy right now, go on the MLS, find properties that have been sitting for 3 to 6 months and that are like multi-million-dollar homes. Knock on the door, run numbers of those properties, and tell the owners or the real estate agent that you can help that owner sell that property by creating a rent roll for them, basically renting their property out on Airbnb, and then an investor will eventually buy that. So I'll scout out these properties, make a ton of money off of them for 3 to 6 months. They'll gather a rent roll, then they'll sell them. So it's kind of like I have to completely always be bringing new clients in, because that's kind of what I've been doing lately, is going after these multi-million-dollar properties that are sitting on the market, putting them on Airbnb for the owners so they can cash flow while it's still for sale, creating a rent roll. Then these investors are then going out and buying them.
And are you buying furniture, renting furniture? What are you doing to get that property ready to where it needs to be?
Yeah, this, Ron, a lot of these multi-million-dollar properties, they just sit there with furniture already in them. So we just use what they have there. I don't put anything in. We're not putting anything in. We'll maybe do a couple things here and there. I have a design team that works for me. So we'll go in and design some stuff. But most of the time, those multi-million-dollar properties they're already furnished. Everything's already there. The people that own them, they don't really go to them very much, and they just kind of hang out. They're just selling them to move into another market or whatnot. I just had one of the Gallows. There was a property in Strawberry, and I was managing it for 6 months. It was 3.2 million. They couldn't sell it. I called them, ended up talking to the real estate agent, and then ended up getting a hold of the owner and saying, hey, this place could make 10 to 15 grand a month. It actually exceeded that. I was making 20,000 a month. They had it up for 3 months, and then some investor came in and bought it, because they knew it was going to cash flow. They can use it whenever they wanted. It was making 20 grand a month. It was in Strawberry, 5 minutes from Dodge Ridge. I mean, you can throw a rock to Dodge Ridge from the backyard of that place. It was on on a little creek. It was super cool. But yeah, I just managed that. Was able to I was charging 30% at that time. Making some pretty good cash on the side. I don't deal with my business like that. I have virtual assistants and an assistant that helps me on the back end. So I'm not really involved in the operational aspect of my business. I just kind of only do things that I'm uniquely qualified to do. So, but it takes time to get there. It took me years to build that. I didn't just all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm not going to be my business. I had to, create it. But it's possible, man. Anybody could do it. It's just getting the right education, the right information. Right, John?
I love it. I think this is exactly what you should be doing. It really does make a lot of sense. I think so many people are trained the old way, right? Like I always say, a lot of people just come in and say, I just want to flip, right? I need to get cash today.
Right.
And then they graduate from there, then they go, I want passive income. So I want a long-term hold. And
Right.
to me, what you're doing is, I would say you're a part hotel, part travel agent, right?
Yeah.
A couple of different hats.
Yeah. I would love it. That's what actually been looking for. So Ron, if you find a hotel, let me know, man. Or in a beat up motel somewhere where we've been looking for one of those. We want to turn it into like a Airbnb boutique motel kind of place.
Really?
I've been Rexy looking all over the place. Yeah, I'm trying to find something like that here, somewhere, hopefully in California, at least on a route to an attraction somewhere. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the next step. So you could be the agent, Ron. You find something, man.
I will tell you, I had a really interesting conversation with a gentleman today. And he was looking to develop land and but we just got to talking. And come to find out, he has 800 units,
Wow.
right? A lot of them are Section 8 in Oakland, but partnering in a couple of these things. And his big thing is like, what's that next big thing? And he knew that, he knows how to buy apartments and rehab them. And he goes, that's getting too competitive. So he's thinking about just building and developing, communities. And this is something I don't think he's ever even thought about doing.
You should. Yeah, I mean the cash on cash. I talk to syndicators all the time that do this, and they're just like, there's too much risk. It's too involved. I just had somebody on my podcast, and we talk about this stuff all the time on the podcast. And the syndicator was on there, and she's just like, her name is Vina Jetty. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her at all. She runs these like multi-million-dollar syndications. She's really big in the real estate space. She does a ton of stuff. And she's just basically was like, there's too much risk. It's too risky for me to get involved in the short-term rental space or mid-term rental space. So that's why you don't see these people getting into it. There's a lot of moving parts. It's not easy to maneuver. I mean, we just talked about how Airbnb has a lot of moving parts, and these people just they don't know how to do it. They don't get it. So
what got you into this, and what is the exit strategy for you?
Yeah, well, exactly what you were seeing happening in Gatlinburg in Tennessee, where all these hedge funds were coming in buying all these properties. That's my end goal, is that I have 20, 30 properties where a hedge fund or an investor that has a lot of liquid that can come in and say, hey, I'm going to buy all your portfolio for 2x to 3x what you paid for it. It's already cash flowing, and you can't put a price on some of those things. So you have to. That's my goal, is to eventually exit in that way, and continue to evolve and grow and to change with the way things are evolving right now. That's why I'm kind of trying to go into the motel and hotel space, because we know that since the pandemic, hotels have been slaughtered, especially in 2020. So the Airbnb model in a motel would make sense, and I'm trying to create something like that where somebody can stay in a property, be there for a day or two or three or whatever it is, and then potentially have a vehicle they can rent there. So we're doing things a little bit different.
Are you going to add that Turo into it?
Yeah, but so I do that now with the midterm rentals. So like these travel nurses that come, they'll rent my property and they'll rent my car. So they'll like just get an Uber from SFO or Oakland or something to property Modesto, and the car's in the garage waiting for them. So that's what I do for like recruiters to make their jobs easier for the clinicians that are coming in. But yeah, same concept but we're doing this a little bit more, involved, where whoever's staying on our property would put in their favorite album or their favorite song or whatever it is. When they come in, they'll have like their favorite Beatles album playing, their favorite like alcohol on the ice when they're there, whatever it is. So we're trying to create more of an experience, because the midterm rental and short-term rental space, those people that are kind of curating experiences around what they have going on, those are the guys that are going to be around in 5 or 10 years. Everybody now is just putting up Airbnbs, like they're not going to be successful. You have to create an experience, even if that's something as simple as like walking into your favorite, Led Zeppelin song, or, having your favorite, beer on ice as you arrive, stuff like that. That's kind of curated to the guest. That's where we're going in this space. That's where
Where did you learn that from? What book, what seminar, who taught you that? That's next level stuff. And I like it because we talk about the experience economy.
Yeah.
One of the books out there.
Yeah, there's the Marriott family wrote a book like probably 30 years ago, and it curated literally around that, where their whole entire goal was they found these business travelers that were coming in, and they stayed at the Marriott because they had different magazines or different newspapers that were there. So you have these business travelers that are coming in from New York into some rural place in the Midwest, and guess what was there? The New York Times, the LA Times, whatever they're listening to. So I kind of looked at that as like a business model to eventually, and we're in that space now where everybody wants things curated to them. I mean, our phones, I could talk about buying a hat right now, and all of a sudden I go on my phone, there's a bunch of hats showing on my phone. So that's just how our economy's kind of changed, how we're living, how we're doing things. So for me, that curated experience is kind of just second nature to how we're living already. And then some of these books are placed, they have a 2-minute questionnaire that talks about their favorite things. And then guess what? When you arrive, that's there for you. So those little things go a long way too when you're hosting people like that.
Very Daniel Pink. Daniel Pink is a very big on curating, and I've been following that lately. And you're absolutely right. Very similar to the Nordstrom experience type of thing too.
Yeah.
So that, like that.
Yeah, definitely, man. So but that's kind of where I picked it up from, some of these the old hotel operators that did things back in the day. And again, this was like 30 years ago that book was put together. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just everything's changing now, and we have to evolve, and kind of there's not really been many people doing that, which is absurd to me. I don't understand that, but yeah.
How do you see the recession affecting the short-term rental market?
It doesn't. I haven't seen that at all yet. Personally, people that travel, they keep that money aside. Like they know they're going to go. That's not based out of their everyday living expenses, from what I've seen. And I think people are continuing to travel. I look at the trends. I own Airbnb stock. I read their quarterly reviews, and they're all trending up, man. Like they're all trending up. 29% of Q3 last year was all 29% of that was their income that they made. I think it was like $3.7 billion was made just in midterm rentals, so 28 days or longer. So that's the fastest growing market right now in that space. So people are staying and they're traveling different. You guys were just talking about places, people getting laid off of work. Like people don't have to necessarily go into the office anymore. I know a ton of people that work out of homes now. They can travel. Families are going places, for months at a time. It's just a different way of we're moving with the pandemic. Fast forwarded a lot of things. So I personally don't see, this space becoming affected, which is why you're also seeing hedge funds and all these other big, large corporations. The Dart family, you know who the Dart family is? They own the styrofoam cups. Like literally they made the styrofoam cups. They just bought $1 billion worth of land across the street from Walt Disney World to do what? Short-term rent. So, I mean, people that never would have gotten involved in this are doing that now. And you guys can Google that and look that up. I mean, that's real and happening like today. So
I will tell you, I go to conferences a lot, and everyone's like, stay at the host hotel, stay at the host hotel. And I'm seeing my friends going, I want the house next to the hotel. And I can, have 5 or 6 people. We all get a room, we have our whatever, and we can have parties there and not be under the rules of the hotel.
Right. And you
We're
still have your
seeing
own
that
space.
more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, you still got your own space. You can still hang out. You can rent a really nice, pretty big pad now, for $400 or $500 a night, but you split that between 5 guys. I mean, that's only $100 a night, cheaper than staying in a 4-star hotel. I mean, yeah, it's just a better way to stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they go to Costco and grab all their liquor. They and then they get or they go to Bev. Actually, what they've been doing is they've been having Bevmo drop off stuff, and they've been having groceries delivered.
Yeah.
They don't even have to go to the stores anymore.
I just barbecue there at the house, kick back, have a pool, drink some Coronas or maybe a better beer than that. But yeah, man. So I don't know. I see nothing but upward trajectory for now. Eventually it's going to even out. And I think we're going to get to that. There's going to be too many people. But again, that's why I'm talking about, if you think about things intuitively now, as more operators come in and you're better than what they're doing, you're providing more of an experience, you're going to be around. Those other people aren't. So, and you got to start doing that from the beginning. You can't just, you got to evolve with what's happening in the market.
What community do you belong to besides Bigger Pockets, which you mentioned, that talks about this on a regular basis?
I just joined GoBundance. I'm not sure if you're familiar with GoBundance.
I know those guys, man.
Do you?
I love Pat Hyben, great guy. You hang out with Daniel?
Daniel Diller, yeah. So I just got him. So I know Daniel. And I've known him for a long time. So yeah, I've been bugging those guys. Aaron West. I don't know if you know Aaron West.
Yeah, I know Aaron. Yep.
Yeah. So like those guys are big in GoBundance. So I just jumped on that train. So I want to be around people that are doing way more than I would ever think I could potentially do. And we're all in different businesses. Obviously, they're in real estate, but
yeah,
I need to rub elbows with those guys because they have hundreds of properties that eventually could be turned into midterm or short-term rentals that they're not even thinking about. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of what I'm doing, networking. That's really the only kind of networking. And then I host like real estate meetups and stuff, specifically towards short-term rentals in the Bay Area. I just had one in Los Angeles a couple weeks ago. We'll get like 100 people that will show up, 150 people, and just kind of talk, just like I'm talking to you guys right now. I just kind of lay out what the next 6 months or a year looks like when it comes to midterm or short-term renting, and how to position yourself to be successful in that market.
Would you consider yourself one of the leaders in that space right now?
I think in the midterm space, definitely. Like I think I'm kind of that midterm rental guy. Short term, there's a billion gurus out there. I don't know if they're verified or not. I just bought the domain Verified Gurus, you guys. Like somebody's gonna come to me one of these days and be like, I want that domain, because there's so many gurus that are not verified. Like you don't know what the hell they're doing. Today was my domain day buying. I just bought a bunch of domain names. I do that every Tuesday. I'll just go in and buy like 10 domain names that I think of, and eventually somebody will come to me wanting to buy them.
Very nice, very nice. And
Yeah.
then, so your meetup groups, you do them like once a quarter?
Yeah, it just depends on who has them going on. Yeah, we'll do them like once a quarter. We'll do one in LA, San Francisco, Walnut Creek. When's the last? We had one in San Jose probably about a month and a half ago. So yeah, we'll do one like once every other month or so.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of people.
How do people follow you on that?
Yeah, so Instagram. So if you go on my Instagram account, I think John follows me on there. Like I'll post stuff that we have going on or stuff that's happening, or like payouts that I get. Because a lot of times people don't believe, like when I talk about the numbers that I have. Like I showed you guys a check today. Like people are like, oh, you're bullshitting. You're not making $8,100. I'm like, yeah, really I am. But yeah, so I'll like post stuff on there. I'll give little tips on how to do things, or like, if you're getting into the midterm space on what to do or how to operate and stuff like that. So things that I have going on too, and I'll post that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's where you can find out what's happening as far as, the meetups and stuff like that.
I always crack up when people ask, like, did you do that? Like, I have to really show you this, and I'm like, yeah, I've only been doing this for like 20 plus years, You know
what, man? I like showing people because nowadays there's so many bullshitters out there. Like I was just telling you about earlier, like there's people that will take my class, Ron, and then literally go and create a midterm rental class based off of everything that I taught. And they'll sell, and I'm selling my stuff for a couple, $3,000, and my camera just turned off. But they'll go and do the same thing, man. Like they're just literally putting my class that I did already and putting it online. So it's crazy it's crazy that people do that. So there's just not a lot of people that, that it's just, yeah, you don't know who's real and who's not real in these days. So I like to make sure that I show that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always say when you hang out with players, they will sniff out a non-player very fast.
Oh yeah.
Just hang out with players and you're okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, 20 plus years, we all kind of know the right people. And once your name goes, your reputation goes,
Yeah.
just stay away, right? You can never get that back.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. But like I said, nowadays you can just create an Instagram website, say that you're doing this, and then all of a sudden you can sell a class. And these classes aren't cheap. People will pay for it, get screwed over, and it's just how it is now. So it's like it's hard to do. I can have that in my circle, but you go outside of that circle, it's different. But yeah, it's a different day and age when it comes to that stuff. But I don't mind showing it. People need to see like substance sometimes, especially if they're new starting off. People are very skeptical. I mean, the first time I was in here talking, you guys were probably like, yeah, this guy's full of crap. Right, John?
No, I never felt that way. You know what? I just felt like you just had a different model. And, and here's my attitude. There's so many ways to get to the top of the mountain. You
Right.
just have a different path than I have. And that's 100% okay. Right. But my attitude is, what can I learn from this person?
Yep. Yeah.
It's not just because you're different. It's just, what can I learn and what can I incorporate? What do I have to unlearn to go relearn?
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
And Ron, how many times after that first meeting, when I first met Jesse, whatever it was, last fall, and I call Ron, I'm like, what's that guy's name? Martin? Joey? Jimmy? What's his name? Give me his number. I mean, and eventually I find him, now I'm stalking him, I'm happily stalking him.
yeah.
But how many times? So it was definitely not bull by any means.
Yeah.
No, I love it. And my attitude is, I've been doing this for, I don't know, so many years. And my attitude is, when I see someone that's bringing in real value, it's not about me, it's about helping others.
Yep.
And-
Yeah.
and comfortably, I'm okay with that. I
Definitely.
will make my money long-term. I don't look at the short-term stuff.
Yeah.
Just go help people. And like I said, Dave, we created a whole business together because of media groups.
Yeah.
That's valuable. And Jesse, I could see you and I doing some stuff in the future, like, hey, if you can manage this and we'll do this, I could find deals all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ron, you're able to get stuff, like wholesale or whatnot, or off market. You're helping people in distress. That's the best way to buy and hold. When you can pick something up, force that value right away, then you cash flow off it, dude. That's like you're killing three birds with one stone when you're doing that. So
You know what? I don't know if you do this in your business or not,
Mhm.
but did you do cost segregation for your taxes?
Yeah, we do. I did. Yeah.
I-
I did that this year. But we're like, we're barely going through all my tax stuff right now. Like, I had to progress everything out because my business really grew a lot, and we had to go over things from last year. But yeah, we're barely sitting down right now and really going through everything. Well, I had an extension put in place.
Yeah. No. I will tell you the difference between writing, a six-figure check and breaking even.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah, this is huge. And you can see why certain people now are able to, the rich just keep getting richer because they're using these little loopholes, doing all these little things.
Right.
And they're not paying taxes, where the average guy who doesn't have property, they're paying all the taxes. Right?
Yeah. Tremendous taxes. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's insane. I can't even. I always worked a W-2 job up until last year, until July of last year. I was working W-2, and doing my taxes this year. Like, I can't even, to have to write a check to the IRS for a ton of money. Like, it just broke my soul, man. I didn't do it yet. That's why I'm having them go back. We're like literally going through everything all over again. I have a new CPA now. We're doing everything from the ground up because just like what you mentioned, cost segregation, you have to make sure you do that. And I have a lot of expenses coming in, and a lot of cash coming in, a lot of cash going out. In this space, we're right now with the property management agency, we have like over 100 grand coming in a month, and then 70, 80 coming out. So there's a lot of moving parts that are coming into it. We got to pay the owners out and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I can't even, that made me sick to have to do that.
I will tell you, in the business that Dave and I have done, and it's one of the reasons why we probably haven't gone down this route. Since February, we've placed 85 tenants in one of our businesses.
Wow.
And I can see why we're just so like swamped.
Yeah, you guys are doing the contracting stuff, right? The government contracting. Yeah.
See? It's just a whole different one. Today we found out we wanted another award, and I'm like, awesome. So I think at this point we almost need to outsource it so we can be okay with it, because it makes sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, Dave was telling me about all that stuff, and I think actually from the very beginning, I sent Dave my essentials checklist, like everything that I get for people that come into the property, and I sent it to him so he like had something to buy from, because I know that you guys were filling a bunch of properties in. I don't remember what city. I think we actually talked about it over in Chico.
Yeah,
Those are the first ones you guys got, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he was trying to figure out what he needed to get, and I have a list of everything that needs to be done. If those of you guys that want that, shoot me a message, or I'll send it to you guys. It's basically everything you need to get a midterm or short-term rental, or in this case, even a government contract. Literally everything you need for the property.
Yeah, shoot it to me, Jesse. I love that. Hey,
Yeah.
Jesse, I just sent you an email. You've done an analysis before for me.
Mhm.
This might be a property that might qualify for it.
Yeah, let me take a look. Let's see.
And actually, do you want to do this and just take over the screen and show it? What you could do?
I could, yeah, let me see.
I'll make you host real quickly.
I don't see your email.
It was a direct message.
Oh, you got a direct message. Okay, let me go back and look. Sorry. You got a Livermore place?
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to you about this offline. I got a person that I'm talking to right now. Because I used to work in healthcare and home healthcare, and there was a guy that I talked to that he's gonna go hospice. And he has a house that is probably like worth like 1.3 that he wants to get rid of it pretty quick. We'll have to talk offline. He's gonna want a cash deal on it though for
Okay.
probably like 700.
All right, done.
I don't know if you got that laying around though, Ron. Let me see here. Okay,
You are the host now.
all right, let me see if I can go in here and take a look at this. So it's the 902, right?
Yep.
902 Orange. Let's go and take a look. So I do two different things. I'll just do the generic version right now of Mash. So I go on Mashvisor. Let me share my screen real quick with you guys. So I use Mashvisor. Mashvisor is like just a simple tool, like kind of like AirDNA, which I think Ron, you and I have talked about a second ago. This kind of gives you like a very simple breakdown of what the property can earn per month. Can you tell me like what size this property is? Is it 3.2?
3.2. Yep. That's it.
Okay.
That's exactly it.
Do you know what the purchase price is going to be, or are you not allowed to share that right now?
I already own it.
You do?
I bought it for $675. I'm
670.
putting 100K into it. So
Okay.
make it 775.
Okay, so let's do 775. That's a good deal, man. Livermore right now, anything you could pick up for
And
that.
remember, I told you this is where I make my money. It's on
Yeah.
the buy. That's the only great skill I have is buying.
So right now, from day one, if you were just to put this on right now, you would get about $5,000 a month for it, which might be pretty close to what traditional rent is. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if this is accurate. Is that right? 32? Is that what you could get
Yeah,
for?
I would say 33 is about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, like, this is just averaging what you would probably get, but then I go in here and I run, well, we can actually look at what the properties are doing. So right now in this area, the 66% occupancy, this is not a place that you want to buy to midterm or short-term rent, because you see that here where it's just 33%.
Right.
You're only going to make 3% cash on cash, average price at 1 million. Like, I wouldn't even look at anything for 1 million unless it's making over 15K a month. But if you see here, the 90th percentile is making 10K a month, and we'll see that. Look, there's a place here, Ron, that's doing 31 grand a month.
Wow.
And I'll show you guys what this looks like. And you'll see why it's making 31 grand a month. You see that there?
Ooh.
So these high-end properties right now, this is what I go after. When I find a property that's sitting on the market like this is what I'm getting. This is what I'm going on there. I'm knocking on their door saying, hey, you guys can't sell this house. It's probably listed at, 5.2. I can make you guys 15 or 20K a month. Here's how I'll do it. It's already furnished. I'll just pick this place up, create a rent roll, and then even create a buyer, Ron. I'll find a buyer that I can go into my network and say, hey, here's a $3.2 million house. It's cash flowing, pay for itself. It's on a vineyard or winery, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll actually help that agent sell that property. I should probably get my license. I don't know why I haven't yet, but they'll just give me like a sale fee or a, kind of a kick down for whenever they're doing that. But anyway, this house is making 32 grand. I'll try to find a place, Ron.
So you're basically setting up a short-term arbitrage to fill the gap, and then you develop, basically you build some momentum from that. They're happy, you're happy, and they get exposure that they would not normally get because nobody's looking at it. People stay in it or raving about it. They go tell somebody, and that could be infectious. It's an arbitrage.
Yeah, it's essentially
great arbitrage.
Yeah, without me having to put any money in. Yeah, yeah. So you see these guys here. So there's little guys that are doing, here's 8 grand, 10 grand. So we'll take a look at this. If this is a 3.2, then Ron, this might be a comp we look at to kind of make sense. So yeah, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath right here. So it's just a basic, this looks like it might be a new build. But yeah, you just decorate something like that. When you going in to rehab your place, put a little bit of higher amenities. Looks like they have some, what is that, quartz countertops right there. Yep. It's just bright white. These are basic cabinets. These aren't like high-end stuff. That's just basic cabinet stuff. So now I look at this and I'd be like, okay, Ron, your place, if you're going to be redoing this right now, let's make it something similar to this. We already know that this place is called Beautiful Ranch House. So we'll go back and look at the comps here. Where's Beautiful Ranch House? Yeah, oh, wait, that's not it.
No, it was
It was the Secluded. There we go. Secluded. So where's that at? So then we look at
86. Yeah.
Yeah, so we look at these numbers. That's pretty damn good for a place that you picked up for 600 grand. You'd probably be cash flowing 5 or 6 grand a month if you were to pick this up. You know, if you had created something just like this. So then we'll go through, we'll find stuff. I have another tool that I use that I'll go in and kind of fill in some gaps, but this will give us like a pretty decent roundabout. And then it would just be about marketing after that, you know, going out, connecting with the right people, you know, we already have like my agency has, you know, we've been super hosts for like 20 months in a row now, or 20, they do it every quarter. And every quarter I've had Superhost over the last 20 Superhost status, whatever the math is on. It's like 5 or 6 years we have that. So our listings are always ranked to the top no matter what. If we have a property, if I listed in Livermore, I listed in Texas, we're always to the top. We've been doing this for so long. And we have all those solid reviews. So we'd automatically be linked to the front. So I mean, I can almost guarantee that you picked up a place and you turn it into what this house looks like, that you'd be earning these numbers right here.
Nice.
Yeah. So but this is what I do too. And I'm going in when I'm working with investors, we'll go in and like really analyze what the market looks like, how it's operating, what the last year looks like, where the trajectory is, what the job growth looks like. So we'll look at it from different levels, and I'll create a pro forma for that investor. And then we'll look at it just like you do traditionally with long-term renting as an exit strategy. We'll look at it as short-term space, and we'll look at it as midterm space. So there's like multiple different exit strategies. I'll put it together in this beautiful pro forma, have a conversation like I'm having with you guys right now, and just lay out what the potential is for that property. And then they either do it or they don't, one or the other. But you know, like I said, most of the time these investors, like, they're like, that's not real. These numbers aren't real. And I'm like, yeah, it actually really is. And they've been doing things wrong for the longest time. So not that's wrong. It's just a different road. You know, it's a different track that they're on. Just like you mentioned earlier, everybody has their own ways of doing things, but I feel like you have to evolve. You know what I mean? You have to be able to evolve in these markets.
I 100% agree. And Jesse, you could do this remotely from anywhere, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do this remotely from anywhere. Yeah, from anywhere. So your place, Ron, would probably make about $8 grand a month if you were to do that. So
yeah, difference between cash flowing, not cash flowing. Right.
Yeah. Imagine being able to pick up a property cheap, cash flow it, and have forced appreciation. Like, dude, that's like, I mean, it's unheard of in a lot of things. So
yeah, so I have 2 of the 3. I need the third.
Yeah. Oh, you have another one?
No. I have 2. I have 2 of the things. I can force appreciation and I can write. Those are my skills. Now it's adding that next thing that will really make those things, like I always say, it's going from a triple to a home run or a grand slam.
Yeah. I had a mentor tell me one time, Ron, because I was always thinking like, man, I always want to hit home runs. And he's like, if you want to be in this business for a long time, you got to go up and at bat, and you just need to hit base hits, and you do that for years on years on years, and you just continue to do that, and that's going to get you where you need to go. Not everything needs to perform the way you need it to, but you need to just have base hits over the next 15 to 20 years, and that'll put you exactly where you want to be.
Basketballs are won by 2 points in the foul line.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why I just don't believe in the short term. Let me tell you how great I am, and I'm really not. Because once your reputation's gone, you'll never get it back. You'll never get it back. I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah. Which is why, like, you know, anybody listening now, when you get into something, you got to think about exit strategies from day one. You know, you have to, because there's regulations that could pop up, and boom, all of a sudden Livermore doesn't allow short-term rentals. Now what, Ron? We expected you to make $8 grand a month.
Yep.
And you don't have, you know, now you're screwed. You're SOL, right? So there's different exit strategies we have to put in place and really think about those things just in case if it's a city that doesn't allow short-term rentals.
Things change on that property because interest rates went up.
Jesse, do you have a speaking of that, do you have a running list of cities you just don't want to be bothered with? You're like, oh, don't go there. You know, they don't allow this. Do you kind of know where that's okay and not? You know, right now Livermore's fine, but do you kind of have like, okay, Livermore's good, Modesto's good. Yeah,
Modesto's not good. Modesto just put an ordinance in, they don't allow short-term rentals.
Short-term is less than 30 days.
Yeah, so Modesto, because you might know this guy, Ron, Manny Garwal. Yeah, so Manny's on the city council, and he just banned short-term rentals because he's building a big-ass hotel behind Kaiser.
I was gonna say, all the hotel groups started going after the short-term rental guys.
Yeah, but I knocked on the door and met up with 40 other operators in Modesto, and now they're revisiting the subject because it's a conflict of interest for him to cancel that out. So they kind of screwed himself on that end. So now I created an advocacy group, and now this group's like, now they got to deal with the city's got, and then you're going to see this in Modesto B next week. I sat down with Modesto B, and they're writing an article about it. So yeah, I'm probably the wrong guy to be messing with on when it comes to these things. Because I mean, for me, luckily, this is my livelihood. But there's other people like single moms and stuff that have, an ADU in their backyard, and that's how they're making money. Or just small little mom and pop operators that have a place, and now they're completely shutting everything down. And Modesto is the only city that doesn't allow it. Turlock's all good. Every other city in the Central Valley is all good, except for Modesto, because they happen to have a council member that is breaking ground on a big ass hotel, and that's why Vegas doesn't allow short-term rentals anymore, because the hotel industry owns that place. So
Yeah.
that's just how it works in politics, man. You got somebody that's on the council that has something like that. They're going to try to X people out. But I think with advocacy groups and politics, you got to slowly kind of turn the ball. And I think that's what we're doing right now. So I expect that to open up, or what I hope happens. And between us, they actually let me continue to operate my short-term rentals because I was causing such a scene. Everybody else is canceled out. But they basically grandfathered me in and told me to shush. But it's not even about me. It's like about everybody else. I don't, I'll be fine. I have travel nursing contracts. I can fill my properties easily. But the people that I know here that are reliant on that income, like they need that stuff. So for me, it's more of like an advocacy for everybody that's here. In this space in Modesto that's operating now. And, I don't look at it with a scarcity mindset, like, oh, there's not enough Airbnbs, like I'm going to get shut out. Like I'm all for everybody coming into this market. I think
it's usually the small mom and pop that usually get hurt in this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Always.
100%. Yeah. So I'm definitely an advocate for people that are getting in the space, but if you don't have an exit, that's exactly why you need to have an exit strategy. And that's why it's important to have, think about midterm rentals from day one. How are you going to service that company? How are you going to service those people? How are you going to get into the nursing field? How are you going to connect with ALE solutions and get paid on that end? You got to think about those things. And I think a lot of times short-term rentals now are the shiny new object. Or like, I can make money right away. You can go on YouTube right now and watch these little kids that are in their 20s saying that they make $1 million. They got Ferraris in the background because of Airbnb. But in reality, it's not like that. It's 100% not like that. It's just not how it works.
Thank you for the class, man. I appreciate this.
Yeah. You're welcome.
All right, man. So they can sign up for your master class. Just get on the waiting list. What else? They can follow you on Instagram. Anything else?
No, that's it, man. I mean, if you guys have any questions about the space, just reach out. I mean, I've talked to John a couple times already. I'm pretty much an open book on this. Like I said, I don't hold anything back. I think everybody has the option to do this. It's easy to get involved in. It's hard to operate. It's one of those things you can rent somebody else's house, just like John said. I can rent somebody else's house and get into this, but to do it the right way is where it becomes difficult. So, I'm here to answer any questions if anybody has any.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate this.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Thank you,
Thanks
Jesse.
a lot, Jesse. Hey,
Yeah,
Jesse, let's talk about
Thanks.
your other property. You want to connect tomorrow?
Yeah, connect with me, man. Do you have my number, Ron?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think you might, man. I'll message it to you right now. Let's see you have it. Just shoot me a text. Tomorrow I'm prepping for class. I'll have free time. Just shoot me a message and we'll figure stuff out. I just text you I put my number on the message for you there, Ron.
Hey, Jesse, quick question. So it's $3,000 to do your master class. Is that like one time, or are we part of a Discord or a community? How's that work?
Yeah, so I have a community right now. It's on Facebook. It's private. So everybody that's been in class, what they have going on, we'll share information about recruiters. I have a live, I'll go on just like this, like we're doing right now. And I'll talk to my, everybody that's prior in my class and in my class now. We do that weekly. So this is like an ongoing thing. So once you sign up, you're in the class, we have 4 weeks with us learning the actual strategic way to do it. And then you're part of that network forever, as long as we keep going. So it's kind of, I'm trying to build a community that's really like tight knit, because there's not a lot of people doing this. So I want to share information with people, recruiters that I get. I'm going to share that information with you guys. So I really try to create that communal aspect where everybody's kind of sharing with each other, and has that same mindset from the very beginning, instead of being like, I'm not going to share this. This is mine. I'm going to keep it. So I'm like an open book on that stuff. I'll share, any information that I get. I even give, clients that they come into Modesto that buy property, they're in my class. If I don't have a place for a traveling nurse, I'll just hand it over to them. They care, man, here's a $5,000 booking for this month. I don't have anywhere to put this person. So like, I have no problem doing that at all, so I think I've been enticing people around to buy in Modesto because the numbers have been so good. So that's why I told you, man, I need to get my license and probably join your brokerage, man. I need to figure that out.
Let's figure it out. Whatever you want, I'll help you.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't. I was in sales for 17 years, man, with the hospitals and stuff. So it's like second nature to me to do this. So I don't know what I'm doing. I just don't want to sign contracts, Ron. I mean, that's boring.
Exactly.
Come on.
All right,
man.
guys. Hey,
right,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much, Jesse.
All right,
Awesome
guys.
stuff.
All right.
We'll
Thanks,
see you guys
Justin.
next month.
Yeah.
Thank
Jose,
you.
Just
Silva. Nice meeting you guys all. Take care,
Nice
man.
meeting you, Jesse.
John, later, man. Bye, guys.
Till next time.
Until next time.